All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:31. My name is Scott Ruther. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of TeacherLive.com. Welcome to today's 6:30 Club, where I try and give you levels to watch, ways to navigate. Hopefully, as you build a process that you can do every day to approach the market unemotional with a plan, so this way you can make money actively and also perhaps set yourself up for the future with long-term accounts by making a little sacrifice. Hopefully everyone's feeling well. I know it's a very complicated world out there, and we just got to control with control and help where we can. At this point, it is Thursday. We're waiting for the CPI. The market's had a really interesting move since Friday's jobs report. Dips have been viable. The market's acted much better. People are like, Red Dog, what's the matter with this world? Why did it take, a terrorist attack on, well, I'm not going to get the whole thing to equalize the market? Like, that's just the way it is. It's the way it happens, and sometimes you can't ask why. You just have to have multiple plans and wait to see how it goes. And if you look here, the chart of the SBS cash, right? This was Jobs Friday. This is when they said, oh, it's a hot report. Inflation, sell. What happened? We held 42.16. And then this was, we came in on Monday after the horrific terrorist attack on Israel, and tried to figure out, what kind of effect it would have on the tape, and the dip was viable. We talked about, would 42.70, 42.80 hold, and it did, right? And then yesterday you could have sold some strength, bought a dip, and here we are today. SPYs are up $2 at 438.42, which we'll get to. So we're up about 20 handles. And listen, I try and give you guys lots of different ways to approach the market, and I trade for a living. So I hopefully create cash flow so I can get paid quarterly and get a check. But I'm also the founding partner of T3. I'm also the Chief Strategic Officer. So I'm also, I have a package. So I have a 401k, I have my son's 529, and I have a cash account where on October 3rd, I came out. This was October 3rd, okay, because I had to get the print when it closed on the lows. And I said, I'm buying tier 2 of a 4-tier system that I only put to work, when there's, real big moves to the downside where I cost average in because I can't do flows. And when I put that out there, Twitter's freaking crazy. I get bashed. You're a permeable. You're this. We're going down another 200 handles. I'm like, all I'm telling you is what I'm doing. Okay, and if you look here at the chart of the S&P cash, I've done it, a bunch of times through the course of history. If you look back at other times of volatility, did it during the taper tantrum here, put only 2 tiers to work, and then, then reduced it back into a fixed rider. Here I put 3 tiers to work. This was the pandemic. What a crazy time that was, with a Red Dog reversal, inside action, boom. And then during this decline, since, that 2021 high, I put it to work, into tier 3 and then tier 2, and then, and I think I was out of it here, so I put 2 tiers back. So anyway, if you look at the weekly chart, you can see where we are actually. You would think that this 440-ish, which is what? This is right here, 4,400-ish, 4440-ish would be some resistance, which is where we broke down from. So just to make sure, first time we get there, you're not just blindly buying because you have crazy FOMO, and then I guess you can almost take this line and come into here. So this is probably where we would at least pause if we get there. But again, this is the reason why I bought this 42.16-ish was that spot. So if some of you that don't have a blood in the street account have a 401k, that you navigate the same way because that's what you look at what I do. At this point we're opening at 4,400. We're about 150 handles above, where we were when I put that in. We're actually back above where I bought tier 1. I bought tier 1 here, and I remember into this spot I said the same thing, but I didn't sell hers because again, I'm not selling this account until we go back to new all-time highs in the S&P, which I don't think happens this year. I think that could happen in the next year to 2 years. But again, it's not what I get paid quarterly. If you bought the SPYs or bought options when I do it, because everyone uses information differently. You apply it into your process. So bottom line is we're opening above 43.85. You just had 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fifth day. The oscillator that was minus 55 down here is probably up plus 30. So just be a little careful, with new buys. If you look at the SPYs real quick, at this point, if you're still holding 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 longs and massaging them, into this move, which is another DT line, you have, you have some space. This is 444-ish. This is what? This is 439.94. So this 439 to 444 is definitely not going to be the easiest area to get through, especially at first kiss, and the gap gets filled here. So just make sure to trim and trail. Book some money. Don't over. Oh my God, and just chase things. Make sure you're doing whatever you're doing, for a reason. And again, the SPYs right now are up at 438.44, filling this gap. What you could do is, what I might do this morning is I might, sell like the 441 calls and take in $1. So this way I'm not shorting the SPYs, but I have room and I can collect premium. That's what I did actually into this area. I was shorting the 437s and make decent money, and I don't have them on now, and I could do it again. And that's how you add to hedges. It pulls in, you buy some back. On a dip, you buy some longs, and then they go up and you trim and trail, and that's how you kind of do it. What's been working? Nvidia's been working. Nvidia, if you remember, on this day we talked about. I bought a call spread for earnings. I bought the 505 by 560 call spread, thinking that if we get a fourth quarter rally, which it's only October 12th and it already started, I want to have something that I think can make a new 2023 all-time high. And so far, that's working really well. I've been managing it a little bit. I don't have the stock on, unfortunately, but I did have it on for a nice trade here. This looks like your next area, 480-ish. AMD, which usually moves with NVIDIA, it didn't for a little while, started to act really well. If you remember, I went over this in the 630 Club a bunch of times. Right in here, when it looked like it was getting ready to go and was hard, we were buying a lot of 105 calls. Into this move, I actually sold most of them, created a spread, and then yesterday bought some of the short side of the spread back, so now it's free and clear, and we'll see if this could work its way back towards 110 or more. SMCI also is really, really good for a lot of people in the 630 Club. Talked about buying it right around 266-ish and then above 294. Now it's building another new type of flag to get above 317 to maybe, fill that gap. So that's been great. Even like a Lilly, I've listed it a few times. Last time I posted the chart was after this pullback, and I'm like, if it clears 537, it could be a good bounce type trade. It did a higher low to the gap pivot. I wasn't expecting this, but a lot of people that trade this group made a lot of money. This almost moved better than NVIDIA. So there are a lot of different things going on. Then you have the pecking order. Remember, I kept putting the Qs out there and showing you what I think could make new 2023 highs first. One of them obviously was Meta. Meta finally cleared this 307 area. I actually sold mine yesterday into new highs. It was a nice 4-day move or so. It's opening above 330. At this point, nice trade, good option trade. I would reduce and sell into this. Day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll post my day count rule that I teach. Day 5, you should never be chasing something at the first kiss. If anything, you're reducing. And then Google, that was also something. I sold Meta and Google yesterday. A little early, but you can't get pissed off at yourself for selling something a little early and netting money. But this also, right here is where we were really focusing on it. It started to show some relative strength, and then wound up clearing this 319.50 yesterday and 139.15 to make a new high. Then you have some stocks playing catch up. Amazon, I'm actually long. When it cleared just 128 and held it, this gap is probably going to get filled. That's something you probably want to reduce into. Tesla hasn't been great, but it's still hanging around. Inside day yesterday. I bought this the same time I bought options for NVIDIA somewhere in here. I bought some for Tesla just in case. It's tough to trade. If this were to get above 369-ish, there's room to, 269-ish. I'm like a little dyslexic this morning. It's been a long week. then you have 278, and then that gap gets filled. I like when Tesla leads, but at this point, when you have them reducing prices and their margins are going to be a little messed up and this and that, what's it called? You just gotta have a little expectations a little bit lower. You know what I'm saying? Then you have some one-offs. I still think this Palantir is working real nice. Some guys are long this. Looks like it's stair-stepping up. Then you have a few like mid-tier stocks. These were unbelievable for a lot of people. I don't trade the cyber names, but I list them as a chief strategic officer, and also for here, I put a lot of charts out there. Doesn't mean I'm in all of them. If I was in all the things that I put together as a strategy for you guys, I'd be in 30 names, and I just don't have the bandwidth. Because I come up with 30, 40 charts. Last time I listed this was right here at 167. Then it took out 172. What a move! It's good to see power. What's it doing this morning? CRWD. So it's kind of seems a little overbought. I'd be careful now. And then the same day I did that, as a group, I put ZS out there, and that had a nice move. So there's lots of nice action out there. If you disconnect yourself from the TVs and from the volatility and the headlines that could really make you really upset, and look at the action, it's been a lot to do. So hopefully you've had a really good week, especially if you like to be actively bullish like me. At this point, though, with the CPI today, maybe you get a little bit of a stretch, but on day 5 to the upside, not the day to start fresh longs. And again, if you put a decent amount of money to work in your longer term accounts, when I did my wife's Blood in the Street account from October 3rd, document to go back on Twitter. Some of you guys go, Riddler, you didn't tell me to buy it. I'm like, every time I do the Blood in the Street account, it's usually when the oscillator's minus 50 to minus 70, everyone's selling and they're saying, be careful. And that's when I usually start legging in. And because I don't get paid monthly or quarterly on that, I have room. And a lot of you guys model some of your accounts off that. And if you do, congratulations, you've been doing real well. And if you're also having success making active money, that's great. And if you're putting money away in a 529, you're having a lot of things working for you. You need a lot of things working for you to be prepared actively short term for a living and also longer term for life. Because over time the bull market does win, even though sometimes things feel a little bleak. So gold finally had a little bit of a move for you gold bugs, right? Gapped up here. We were talking about the acceleration downside ending. You had your first time and got above this spot here, and then you had a gap up and it held, and now it looks like I would be selling into this 175 area. It could fill this gap also. It did have a major move lower from when it looked like it was going to break out here and didn't. What else? I don't know. There are some bios working out. There's some of these little ones that have gone nuts. But I'm not going to talk about them because they're too spec. What does the XLE doing? The XLE kind of choppy. Choppy. You had the move off this low. Remember this red dog reversal, and then it gapped up on the terrorist attacks of the weekend into resistance, and then filled the gap. So not doing a whole hell of a lot. The IWM gave you a move back towards the 21-day. There's a little bit more room here. I would not be buying into this 179, 181. This is where, again, you had a little bottom formation. If you look at the channel, held the bottom end of the channel after getting rejected at the top end. This 184-ish area is probably a spot you don't want to be chasing. Banks are coming out with earnings on Friday. It is Thursday. I know everyone's a little bit tired. I'm a little bit tired also. Here's the Qs. Qs have been leading the way. But again, at this point, after a move like, if you did not buy tech on this day when it ignited and held above the 200-day that the spies were below, and then by the dip on Monday when it came into this 360 area, you probably shouldn't be chasing today, considering that we're a little overbought and entries and exits matter above 371.28. Here are the Qs right here. Qs are 372.93. So you would think you should be reducing, not adding. There's ways to navigate. You got to learn them. Otherwise, you're always going to be chasing your tail, and chasing your tail can get you very dizzy. So with that said, I appreciate you guys tuning in. It is Thursday. You got the CPI at 8:30. You have Friday starts bank earnings, but I'm not really expecting that much. Then they're really ridiculous to trade. As far as Microsoft, the news about them owing, I don't know, 25 billion in back taxes, chances are they're gonna, they're gonna have their lawyers and say that they didn't, and chances are this saga is gonna go on for a year. So if you're in Microsoft overnight, don't be jumping out of your seats. It's only down $1.20. Chances are Microsoft will take that in stride, and you could probably buy the dip. As far as Chinese names, China file. Look at the size of this move in China. Okay, that was a big move. I will say that there are some guys that think that just to someone's like Redler, like why are you in this small little Chinese name? Because they say as China gets better, this is it's called the Prestige Wealth. Came public in July, and if you look at it, it was in the 20s, broke down to 14. Woke up yesterday, and with the Chinese markets getting better, there is a small chance, in my humble opinion, that this could wind up taking out this 513 and working its way higher. This is when the market was really bad, and it did come public, so at least it was quality enough to finally come public. And I would think maybe this, just put it on the radar. Gets above, you want to buy a little bit in here, gets above 513. Let it go. Some sales traders really like it. It's not a focus. You should be focusing on something like NVIDIA that's on its way back towards highs. Something like SMCI that might be ready to take out this 317 and fill the gap. Something like AMD that is stair-stepping higher, as well as some other things. But every now and then, if things are working, you could play some obscure type of things also. If you have the brain power and bandwidth for that. Either which way, it's 348. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see how the CPI is at 830. And if we do get one more push, I'll probably trim into it and then maybe sell some premium in the SPYs for tomorrow and just continue to navigate what's been a really good 5-day sequence. And if this can go on for a few weeks, I think everyone will be happy, and we can net some money and hold some things and massage the trade. So this way we're not just tactical, buying things when they look bad, selling them when they look good. It's nice when you could buy something through a level and then trim it and and just swing it. And first time in a while we've been able to do that. We'll see if it continues. Later.